Carney's ethics filing shows more than 100 entities under conflict of interest screen. Before jumping into politics, Carney was chairman of Brookfield Asset Management, which has $1 trillion in assets under management, and also helped lead efforts to raise capital for 2 major Brookfield clean energy funds. This screen will prevent me from giving preferential treatment to any of the companies while I exercise my official powers, duties, and functions as a reporting public office holder. The screen means that Carney cannot be involved in any official matters or decision-making processes that would further either his or the interests of the 103 companies, many of which operate in the renewable energy and real estate sectors. The Liberal Party has claimed numerous times that they will build and invest into housing and energy, and now we know 100% why that's the case. It sounds like it could potentially be difficult for the government to invest in said projects when the Prime Minister is involved in over 100 different entities. And on top of that, we have a reporter calling out Melanie Joly straight to her face.
Good afternoon, Minister. Your government ran on the promise of being elbows up and standing up for Canadians, but respectfully, that hasn't been happening. So do you think Canadians have been misled by the promises of your government?
I reject that premise.
Even the guy standing beside her knows what's up.
What I'm saying is, of course, we will make sure that we defend our workers. That has been at the core of everything we've been doing.
Well, that core clearly isn't firing on all cylinders, and she can reject that premise all she wants, but at the end of the day, Trump has announced that he wants to place 35% tariffs on Canada, and it seems like the Liberal Party has done nothing to further negotiations to close this deal, to get something finalized. And during this so-called crisis that the Liberals ran on and repeated time and time again, they aren't discussing these incoming tariffs until next Tuesday.
That would be starting August 1st. He says Canada hasn't, quote, done enough to stop fentanyl trafficking. We're now learning Prime Minister Mark Carney will be discussing the issue at a cabinet meeting next Tuesday and a First Minister's meeting on July 22nd. Of course, we will track both of those for you as well. But for more on this story, we've reached Kelly Sundberg. He is a former officer with the Canada Border Services Agency and a criminology professor at Mount Royal University. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so again, we are seeing this claim from the U.S. president that fentanyl is pouring into the U.S. from Canada, and that was in his letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney that he posted online. Can you give us a sense of what the picture is like when we're talking about fentanyl going south of the border from Canada?
Well, we have seen change in the tactics of the producers of fentanyl. So we're seeing the precursors coming into Canada through our largely unregulated they are regulated, but unpoliced ports. Our ports of entry are wide open, and we're seeing a lot of the precursors coming, and then we are seeing manufacturing of fentanyl in Canada. This is more of an issue with respect to the fact that we're seeing more production in Canada for the Canadian consumption. Some of that is, of course, going to be going to the United States.
Oh, it sounds like the door is wide open and they're just allowing them in. And you wonder why Trump is hammering us with more tariffs. We have an entire government on vacation pretending to do important work during a crisis that they've created. While other countries around the world finalize deals with the US, will be known as the country that had a government running on the fact that they were strong enough to negotiate against Donald Trump and never came to a solid deal. Anyway, I'd like to know what you think down in the comments section below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and thank you very much for watching.